Freedom 35, 5, 5, 5.
Dude, start the podcast.
Wow.
Are we recording?
No. We're not doing that shit. No.
Not this week?
I was very disappointed last week when I heard it. Now he's fired again. Kicked him out.
Gort.
He's done.
Gort.
No, he's gone. He's gone.
All right. Well, then welcome back to Freedom 35ers, Cardano NFT podcast, episode 79, technically episode 80. For all the OGs out there.
Damn, that's a lot.
My name is Tommy. I go by TOWMY.
My name is TJ. I go by Lazy T.
And I'm the other Tom. I go by Lavish Bear.
Yeah, but tonight, Tom.
Other Tom?
Tommy.
Tom.
Just Tom.
TJ.
It's hard coming up with stuff tonight. We've been struggling.
Hey, why do we have our real names?
It's just been, couldn't come up with topics tonight. Couldn't come up with names. Just struggle this week.
Not much going on, huh?
Nothing.
I mean, there is, but there's not like nothing.
Nothing that's like normally the fun stuff we like to get excited about. It's more like there's a lot of spicy drama, which some people can have its moments, but overall it doesn't get us excited.
It gets a little
engaged. Yeah, more than anything, for sure.
Well,
it takes a lot of emotional energy reading through all that. It's just like I don't even know what side I'm on for some things. It's just like two people fighting, and it's just like I don't even know why did I just read? I'm on like the 50th tweet in this thread. What am I doing?
I'm like, I don't care about it, but I do. But I keep scrolling.
So invested now. 30 in. I've got to keep going.
You know what? I'll tell you what though. It's things like fly inside this space, right? Like one moment we're on like a high and everything's great, and the next we're just like, this sucks. I hate it. We're back fighting again. You log on Twitter, and it's just like so easy to get wrapped up into that world. But dialing it back over to the live stream from Monday night. We started off getting a little spicy, right? Like we did a little we broke it up in a little. I don't have that on the soundboard tonight, but Backend, yeah, yeah, dude. So we are just kind of talking meme coins. It got into a lot of like talk about ethics. I love that TJ called me out for the Billy Madison
ethics.
Oh, that's such a good line over there. But yeah, so we had some stuff to talk about. The SNEK was going off at that time. It was still in retracement mode, I guess. But that's like where the top of like SNEK just started to come crashing back down. The spicy coin launched, but then like now like it launched, and like that's how most of these are. Like all these have launched now, and then what? Like that's how I feel.
Well, it's the bots too. The bots ruined the fun. Essentially, I feel like it sucked all the fun out of everybody doing this. So I think that had a big role to play when they see the numbers go all the way up and then come crashing all the way down instantly. So I think that kind of made people not want to do it anymore.
I mean, from what we've seen on the Cardano meme coins, they can just take one big sale to tank the price, or the other way, one big sale, one big buy to raise the price so highly. So yeah, when you have the bots buying at that kind of volume, and they're able to kind of not necessarily manipulate because they're they've already got their gain. They're not trying to manipulate for further. They're just tanking out and taking their profits. It's not like when we got in early on SNEK, where a lot of people were able to buy in and ride that all the way up and take a lot of profits.
Yep.
It's like a couple people getting in on it and everyone else just like, oh, what the fuck am I supposed to do with this now?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, everybody's attention span. We talked about how quickly this came and how quickly it went. It's just the same thing with these coins, right? It's like, hey, this is the one for that's hyped up. We're all in. We're doing this. The price goes up. Everybody makes a little bit of money. And then when it goes away, everybody's like, all right, what's on to the next one? And they just keep shifting their money from coin to coin to coin. So you're going to keep getting the same results essentially every single time, right?
Well, that's the thing too, though. You said everybody wants to make a little money. It's just like not everyone is. Someone's going to be left holding the bag. Like you're essentially paying someone else your ADA when you don't get out quick enough or you don't make the right call. And it's always hard to make that call, right? You always want more. Everybody wants more. Everyone wants the next SNEK to happen. Greedy. But yeah, we really are. Deep down, we all FOMO into things. We were greedy. We want more always. So and then when something like that happens, you're like, shit, I want to at least get what I put into it out. So I'm just going to sell that shit real quick and just get out of it. Be gone with it. Be done with it.
When you can tell sometimes how greedy you are, even yourself. You can like
absolutely
when you realize like when you actually are holding something like SNEK that takes off, and you're like, oh damn, I'm sitting on so much ADA right now. Like that should be something a normal person like, I'm going to take this. This is like cash.
Yep.
Who knows what's going to happen tomorrow? Even while I go to sleep, I got to sleep at some point. But instead we're like, yeah, but what if I have $1 million tomorrow?
Exactly.
Like, I'm not good with 10,000 ADA. Like I can't just sit here with 100,000 ADA. Like I got to leave it in and see what happens. Like
Yep.
you even kind of check yourself like, wait, what the fuck am I doing? Like, this is way too greedy. Like, just take what you can get, or not even what you can get. Take those profits when they're available and when you have a good opportunity.
I can fully admit that I'm terrible with that. I FOMO into a lot of things stupidly, and I always make the wrong call. I always go in too late, and it's just like, I should have just let that one go away.
It's
sat in the silent.
It's having the plan, right? But no, it's hard to execute sometimes. And the best part about that Monday night stream was right at the end. Like somebody at the end of it was like, "Yo, Ron is launching." We're like, "What? Ron Swanson's dropping a coin, Ron." And we were just talking about like ethics and like making sure to not FOMO into things. And what do we do?
Oh wait, Tommy. Not only that, you guys also said even. I'm not getting in anymore.
I'm sitting on the back. I literally said I'm sitting in the back seat. I literally said that. I said I'm sitting in the back. I'm taking a back seat to him.
Oh, new meme coin launch. Nobody knows about it. Go. Buy.
Fair launch, stealth launch. Count me in, baby. Let's go. I will say I did like that. The stealth launch move, loved it.
I don't know if you heard yourself. I was listening back to the Monday stream. You literally said in the beginning of that stream, you know what the next one needs to do is just do a stealth launch. Like you.
I said that.
I did say it multiple times. Yeah.
So and it was funny though, because if you did, again, the greed is what got me on this one too, because I ended up, TJ, I know we spent like
Dude, you and I both, like after the stream, we spent almost 12:30 trying to get shit in there, getting scooped.
And ended up getting the scoop. Like Sunday Swap, by the way, is not equipped at all to handle high load volume. Terrible.
Absolutely
not. Not good at all yet. They have a lot of work to do. But so by the time people ended up like doing their, I think I said a 75 and a 90% slippage on that just to be able to get it. So I finally got some, and I think I ended up putting 1,350 ADA, I think was the total of it. And when I went to sleep, because the buy orders just kept going and going and going, that 1,300 ADA by the time I went to bed, like in 3 hours from then, was up to 4,200 ADA. And I was like, what do? I'm like, do I just go to sleep? So I try to pull it out, or if it keeps going up, maybe I'll wake up in the morning. And it hit something crazy, like up to like almost 0.008. And I think I was up to like 6,000 ADA. I was like, I should probably, in the morning I woke up and I was like, I had a busy day. I was going to be gone for the entire day. I was like, I'll just wait until I get home and then I'll deal with it. Like, but in reality, I should have been like, yo, I just took 1,300 ADA and just made 5,000 ADA. I should cash this out. And then if it continues to take off, I'll maybe get back in with those profits.
You should have just got your initial investment. I mean, it's easy to say that now, right? But that's you should have did the 1,300 hour when you left for work, and then just let the rest just ride.
Where was little TJ just hanging on my shoulder? Hey, Tommy, should have done that. And this is also where the frustrating part of this comes in too, of why we need such. We're not there yet, right? For the mobile side of things, because if I was able on the Ethereum, I have wallet browsers where I can buy and sell and trade on the go. Like, well, here you can't do that. So
I think that's what makes the FOMO worse, is because you can't do it instantly. So you have to make arrangements to purchase things or situations like NFT drops or meme coin drops. You have to be at the computer for all of this. So I think that enhances the FOMO-ness of it. You need to get home and do that. I will say, I think the Ron token did very well in the beginning at first because you couldn't sell and you couldn't buy. So the price just kept climbing. So I think people in the beginning, probably, like you do see all the other coins, or just when coins and things drop, you see people selling off in the beginning a little bit. It's not going to rise straight up like that all the time. Like that's very rare. It does, right? I think the issue with Sunday Swap happening, that kind of helped it.
But it comes like a thing, TJ, where even I was just traveling this past weekend, and you have to make even those arrangements where it almost becomes annoying, right?
Yeah,
to make a decision. And I did it. I split it half and half. For my main wallet that I have, I sold my SNEK before I left, and then I held it in my squash sweater wallet where I only put where I put the 68 in. And it actually got really high. At one point, it was over 1,000 ADA, but when I came back, it was worth 600 ADA. And that kind of stuff happens where it's like I was able to kind of monitor in some ways, but just wasn't available to actually sell it over the weekend and check in that much. So yeah, lost out on that extra 600. It was out to 1,200 ADA, I think, at one point from the 60 original, because that was just that's something we threw in one night.
Yep.
It's crazy though, where the mentality goes I can make a little more. The market cap's low, and it's just sometimes you fight a war, internal war, that's just not worth it mentally for what it is that you end up doing. Now, the problem is you've seen the success stories of things like SNEK that it feels like an anomaly right now compared to what we got. And even SNEK right now has started. You can look at the chart; it's returning back down to where it kind of was started at a little bit. It's not there quite. There's still a ton of volume and stuff there, but you can just quickly see how things change inside the space. So with things like Ron and all these, it's like you just run a losing battle, and it feels like the whole wave of meme coins right now. Everybody's kind of over the whole OG thing, right? We talked about that on Monday. It's just like the OG rules.
So
what do they really do for anybody other than make the people who have the OG rules a little bit of money? Then everything just goes to zero, and they repeat the process again. And a lot of people will even make that same argument that NFTs are the same way.
Yep.
And to a degree, I mean, I can agree with that too.
I don't agree with that. And I'm going to say I don't agree with that because yes, you get OG access to mint or to buy first. But the fact that the OG still get a free airdrop, you don't get that with the NFTs. You don't get a free
if you
extra.
Hold the airdrop, if you hold the NFT long enough, you may.
But yeah, but that's for the whole collection as a whole, not just for the whitelist holders. I've never seen that in a collection. Now, these OG rolls are essentially giving out free money or free whatever token that had the OG roll. So that's where I see where it's like, it's not really fair, in my opinion. I mean, life's not fair, right? But I'm just saying that's not incentivizing for someone to just not be an OG, obviously.
Well, what about people also? I mean, I get the OG part, right? The OG part's the people who got in, but what about the people who also like on NFTs that can like kind of like they get airdropped or staked like their coin, like clay, bake your clay. You have the clay and it gets you this thing, or society with ape stake. You can continue to keep getting stuff from that as long as you hold on to the original thing.
Right. You had to buy their NFT though. You had to originally buy it and you stake it and you spent time doing that. You didn't just get a free airdrop just for purchasing that original. I mean, you know what I'm saying though, like for having that roll, for having the roll, it's the roll I'm talking about. I'm not talking about for holding the coin, having that roll.
I got you. Yeah, I mean, it's just a stupid thing, in my opinion, just in general, of having an OG roll for a meme coin. It doesn't make any sense to me. Like,
but OG roll or not, just the idea that like you have to put that kind of incentive on not flipping really just kind of highlights how dumb some of these coins can be, especially to launch when they have zero utility other than the opportunity to possibly make a big flip quick. That's like about the only reason anyone's interested. And by doing that, they're just highlighting that by showing, I mean, we all know it anyway. It's not like it was a secret, but to just say like, hey, there's no reason really for you to hold this. If we give it to you for free or you get early access to it, you're all just going to dump it and take profit. So if you don't do that, we'll give you some stuff in 2 days maybe. And everyone's just like, I'm good. I'm gonna take the ADA and just dump it anyway. That's cool though.
Yeah.
And it just takes some really convicted people to be like, oh, I'll hold, I guess. Not to say too, I mean, the opportunity to get multiple wallets nowadays with the verifications there are across wallets and getting into projects, like your opportunities to get in and have the OG roll, hold that, get the airdrop and still buy with other wallets later. So it kind of is just whatever anyway.
Yeah. It's just, I mean, every single chart you're looking at here, essentially they all do the same thing. They all start up, the hype gets built, everybody pre-sales, just like how much money can I make, it launches, and the bots or whatever it is, people dump out from the original, the OGs, whatever they are, and it just slowly fades to existence. But there's the people that they've convinced enough to say that this is one day going to do something are the ones, like you said, that end up holding that bag forever. I just eventually, as it goes there, they're the ones who get hurt.
Well, it gets to a point too where you don't even sell. Like, there's no point even at that point to sell. Like you're literally just holding it for nothing.
You're on long for the ride when it goes lower than what you invested. You're like, oh, man, here I am.
Or even lower than lower than that, even like way lower. Where it's how many of us have those NFTs in the graveyard where it's like, the floor says 8 ADA. The activity, the last one sold was 9 months ago. You know what I mean? Like no one's gonna buy this at all. No
one's looking at my wallet.
No one even remembers, the Twitter doesn't even exist anymore. The Discord's gone. So it's just like some of these, like there's just no selling it.
It's man, I hate, I mean, I love it, but I hate it. It reminds me of like a history stamp of like bad decisions that you made throughout your career, to going back and be like, damn, at one point, there's those ones where you knew, like you look at floors with projects that are just disappeared. And at one point you're like, man, I got out of that at a ridiculous price. And then there's others where you're like, yeah, I didn't do that on this one.
Yep. Well, it's funny. The one token, Tommy, that you and I got airdrop ADA. I should have sold. It got almost to 200, and I was like, I'm gonna ride this out. It's worth like 10 ADA now, if that.
Yeah. What if the 200 for that like 8 ADA what you had?
The airdrop I got, it rode up pretty high. I got close to 200, and I was like, I'm riding this out. No.
Yeah.
Well, it's the same with even like you said, this historical record of your wallet following along. Kind of get that with the show too. I mean, some of the projects we end up talking about, they were like, damn, we're really excited about this. I like it a lot. And then it's just like, where are they now? What happened to them? Just completely disappeared. Never heard of again. Like, I mean, I know one we discussed like 2 episodes ago, 2 live streams ago was a Grumpy Bunny. And we love to see them, messing around
The bun.
yeah, they were great on Twitter to follow. They had
RIP.
some very fun drops. They had a kind of cool drop style where they're doing like the smaller limited drops too. And they were hard to get in on. Remember how popular they were?
There was, I remember the very first one I ever did with them whenever that
You
thing
missed the
went.
alarm?
No, that was just,
no,
was a
not the
different
first
drop.
one. Okay.
Yeah. But I remember their first drop they ever did. They were selling those things for like over close to like 900 to 1,000 ADA when ADA was like $2.
And they were selling out all because they're all limited. They were doing those like Halloween drops and they would just sell out instantly.
Yep. Yeah, it's crazy to see where everything is kind of come and gone. And then, we got to pour one out over here for the OG, who is riding into the sunset right now. CNFT.io, RIP.
Low-key miss them. I used to change my price on shit all the time, bro, for free. For free, baby.
For free, and
then you got people not sending you their NFTs all the time.
True.
You would send your ADA. It's basically like an offer, essentially, is what it was, right? You would send your ADA in, and then pray that person did not check the floor of anything if it rose or whatever happened to it, and that they sent you your NFT within the 24 hours. Like
or the kicker was if someone wanted to buy your NFT, you got to get there fast enough to send it to them because they could just cancel. No, I don't want it actually.
Yeah,
that was the other kicker.
The check, right? You get somebody, you catch them with the thing of like, oh, I got somebody, I got to buy it, and it's like, get home real quick, make sure
get a computer
before the price goes down or whatever. Yeah.
Yep, that's the other kicker.
Yeah, dude.
I remember that for my my spoopy. Like I sold it for like 270 ADA. That's when ADA was $2. It wasn't the greatest. It was a sick sale because it was ADA was $2, and I raced that computer to sell that shit quickly because I was like, I don't know if I'll get another offer like that ever on this one.
Yeah, damn. RIP.
Oh, that Clay though, Tommy or TJ.
Oh yeah,
that's the worst call I ever did. I could have got 4,000 ADA when ADA was almost $3 for my green clay, and I turned it down.
Hey, guess what? If you win some, you lose some.
I'm very angry about that still.
Sadly enough, without enough trading volume to sustain us, they're now offline. They said, please delist your assets via the wallet connection above, and then open up a ticket. We kept the lights on as long as we possibly could, but now is a very sad goodnight from all of us at CNFT.io. RIP to the one that got us all going over here inside the space.
They did. They paved the way.
Always will have a place here. But like I said, it's the first mover advantage. Sometimes works, sometimes it doesn't, but also the power of innovation where you're going to see a lot of these OGs and these different projects that we all knew and love when we were here to start. If they're not, innovating or not getting the attention they need, it's eventually money talks and, funds go away and people have to move on.
The strongest ones that are still here, from the beginning, you have to treat this as a business because that's really what it is now. You have to treat your employees, the people you work with as a business because the other ones that aren't here anymore, unfortunately, they were really just art projects. The ones that are still here, you need to continue to operate as a business.
And you say, Tommy, that first mover side, I mean, that's at least a lot of the sentiment that was kind of coming through was either rip to a legend. You guys were the first. I remember making those transactions, all the memes and everything that everyone was kind of sharing about not being able to get those sales to go through or sender, please send, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. But then at the same time, there was the other half of people that were saying you had that first mover advantage. You didn't take advantage of it though. Yeah. You didn't listen to the community. You didn't develop fast enough what we wanted. And someone else came in with things that, weren't these crazy ideas, weren't these things that were unreasonable to have for a marketplace. And everyone was just like, we're out of here. We're going to this one. This is what we've asked for a couple, it wasn't even that long. Things just moved so fast. It was only 2-3 months and everyone was begging for these different features and they just kind of didn't come through or follow through or came in late and everyone was already gone by that point.
Yep.
They did manage to launch the CNFT token though. Remember that? That was the original. Now people call it the original meme coin. And even compare that over to the JPG launch. Is that going to be a relevant thing? We'll see. But yeah,
JPG needs to drop that shit soon because the meme coin wave is starting to fade away.
The meme coin wave is gone. Not gone. It's still here, but
we'll still see it for the next few months, honestly.
Hopefully, we roll this back over into the NFT side and specifically a little bit even more, maybe some DeFi over here.
Whoa.
NFTs. Let's go. Ape Society tonight.
What is Levvy?
Kicking off the society summer here with Levvy Finance. Basically what this is a lending. I mean, we talked about their version, right? They've always we talked about the plunge, the stake pool, one of the landmarks they have, which essentially is kind of a nice way to gamble with your staking rewards to kind of hit the jackpot. They're kind of doing innovative ways with the different landmarks and stuff that they have, and they're doing in this instance is this peer-to-peer NFT lending protocol that allows people, NFT owners, to basically get instant liquidity from lenders at efficient market rates. And they have a nice little, what is this, a sloth? I'm assuming that's what that is, because they got the little guys.
Look under their bio, top right. Go back up, top right.
Oh, just a sloth. Got it.
Just
even
a
better.
Sloth, yeah.
There it is.
So it's going to be slow transactions.
The way that some of these texts, we win Hydra, dude. No, the interesting part about this is basically because the whole part with like getting liquid with NFTs, right? It's hard. You have to sell your NFT, and some people, the NFTs you want to hold on to, sometimes you don't necessarily always get what you want for them, or you don't want to part with them. And we've seen some of these different lending things with Lending Pond. There's Fluid Token. There's a few other things. Even the Mallet Order had their lending thing that they did for holders. But there's always been ways to kind of get liquidity for lending, but there's never been like, I guess, a foolproof, really good way yet. So I'll be curious to see how this actually takes off for them. Because essentially what you're doing is basically there's borrowers and there's lenders, and the way that the borrowing and lending works is that it's basically a competitive. They try to make it competitive so that there's actually volume there for people inside of there by basically allowing you to compete with each other and creating like order books of loans where the borrower is always getting like the best deal. Essentially, where like if instead it kind of like undercutting almost like the floor, right? When you see people doing that. Well, getting like competitive like offers out there essentially, so people pick those, I'm going to get the best offer out there, choose it, and then that way people compete with each other. Like, oh, I need to be more competitive with my lending out there, so people pick it up. And you can set up different, I don't know, you can set up different lending periods, different interest rates and stuff like that. But it'll be interesting how they gamify it themselves,
right?
Because anybody can do this. It's open to anybody who want to do this.
That is cool.
And you can use your stamp book for the CODIS over there. You can get upgrades and things like that, depending on in discount fees, depending on what stamp level and stuff you have. So it'll be interesting though, because this is just like they keep rolling out more and more of these announcements in the Society Summer. They keep teasing it, so it's kind of cool to see them innovating on top of the stuff that they're already doing and bringing holders, and not just only holders, but other people inside the ecosystem into what they're doing.
They've always been one to like, they kind of bring in the full picture. It's never just been like kind of a singular path. They're always working on so much behind the scenes and simultaneously. And this was one I wasn't necessarily expecting from them. It's not one that maybe that we also don't follow them as closely. Tommy, you got your ape now. You got Thomas back. Yep. Alfred Thomas
still there.
But so it may have been a little bit more announced or something hinted at, but it's something that's was a surprise to me to see.
Yeah, go ahead, TJ.
No,
I was gonna say, I mean, they've been teasing stuff like this, and then I know the Discord's always talking, but it's really interesting to see how their take is on this stuff, because essentially it's just a lending and borrowing kind of protocol. But the goal is get people to actually interact, because the ape community is very, they're very active, and they've got a lot of liquidity, especially the people who are in early. So having stuff like this and like incentivizing them to use it and hopefully get more people onboarded is the goal with this, to show how easy it can be. If what they're building is easy. It looks the UI is very nice on this. It looks very simple to use. So basically you would log in and say, hey, look, I want to put up a loan for X amount of, or whatever NFT. Somebody's going to go ahead and or if this guy wants, he's going to give me a space bud and I can give him 4,000 ADA, give him 130% APY on that, and hopefully the guy just pays me back. And if he doesn't, then I think assuming it defaults the same way it would if they don't pay it back the loan, you get the space bud.
The Levvy's you can use it now, right? Or that's not out yet.
I don't know. I haven't gotten that far.
It's just kind of interesting because it's taking like where we've seen these companies come up that are going to do the lending themselves to where now we can all be our own little loan sharks out here.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Deciding what we want, the interest and everything to be. It's just kind of like we're all running our own little street operations.
Yeah,
I saw a cool little feel-good story with Mallard's lending service the other night. Some guy had a personal situation going on in his life. He needed a kind of a quick loan. He reached out to Mallet Order. Within 20 minutes, he got the loan, was able to pay off what he needed to pay off, and he kind of wrote about it on Twitter. So these lending services can be very helpful to people in the community, not even just to like make a quick buck, but to to keep the roof over your head, essentially keep the lights on. So I thought that was a really cool story they shared.
Yeah, it allows you to be still part of the community without
Yes.
having to lose your NFT.
Yep.
And
They do
getting
grants.
liquid. I don't know. They do.
I wish that'd be sick.
That'd be dope, right? Yeah, you can borrow, you can lend. That's all I know. And no, this is not out yet, TJ. I just double checked over there.
Okay, I wasn't sure. I actually have not seen this yet. That's the first time seeing it.
Yeah, they just did a big space today with it. So, yeah, shout out to the Ape Society and what they're building. I'm curious to see as more and more of these landmarks start to open up and how that affects their ecosystem. But it does feel like they're building like the one giant kind of like empire over there.
Yes,
that's for sure.
That's one project that operates like a business now. A business should in this space, really and truly. They're doing it right.
100%. Well, moving on over to another huge project inside the space that continues to keep innovating over here and partnering with not only people inside the Cardano community but people outside of it. And the Sandbox, one of the largest metaverses out right now for Web3. You've got a cross-chain interoperability being built right now between their thing and Clay Nation. Essentially, you're going to be able to bring your avatar, your Clay, into their world right now and play with it, which is.
I just think it's cool that they got that partnership with Sandbox. That's pretty huge, honestly. They just been silently getting partnerships and building behind the scenes.
Yeah, tweeting from the main account here too. 1 million followers.
Yeah, that's sick.
Yeah, it's not something I'm personally like as interested in necessarily engaging with myself, but just them, like the fact they continue to build onto their name and their brand by getting that kind of exposure, it's amazing.
Oh yeah,
just these big announcements like this. I mean, they always come in with like something major.
Tommy, how's that blinding your face right now? The screen. When you change screens, like my face goes back to being.
Oh, he's a better camera. He's a better camera. But I'm pretty sure I have a sunburn now.
Yeah, I had a sunburn too from this weekend, but it's just doing it to me right now. They need to auto default all web pages to dark mode.
But even like your face, I'm looking at you when you change pages.
His camera is better.
Okay, that's what it is. The lighting is messed up.
Sure, his camera's much better. He's got actual it's this big. Ours is this big.
Like, how's your face not brightening up right now? Why is mine every time?
Well, the also cool thing too is not only are they doing just like kind of like a small partnership with them, the fact that you're able to bring all your avatars or all your clays into this world, they're also doing like actual lands over there too. They call it the Sonic Sands, which is a 2x2 land, and then they got an additional social hub that's a 1x1 land for a concert venue. So you'll be able to farm some material. They got clay, musical energy, and crystals. So I'm assuming they do some sort of like music event and things like that over there. And then on top of that, the Sonic Stand Central is going to have an NFT gallery, shopping district, and more. So with the concert area, so not just a small thing, right? They're actually working with that team to actually build something substantial.
Yeah, that is cool.
So big shout out to Clay, man. They're always continuing to operate. Like I said, we can talk about a brand that's just inside the space. That's just like we can talk about professional. Yep. Yeah. They're on top of their stuff right now, and this is why I think a lot of people feel that they'll be here when the next wave kind of comes. They're not going anywhere right now. So
that's how a lot of these projects even want to come up or come out. Like you need to operate like a Clay, and you operate like an Ape Society or a Mallet, or I mean, there's plenty of others I can list. Those are the three that just come to top of mind because we're talking about them. But you really need to kind of look at what they're doing because they're doing it right, really and truly.
Well, I mean, obviously they were in early and have had great success with their floor prices and the big sales. So they've definitely been able to probably accrue a little bit more money than some other projects. But it's also one to see how long that they've been able to sustain this and to see what they're still developing. I mean, the length of time they've been in it, and they're not just kind of like trying to keep the lights on. They're still like pushing, what any project's doing right now. Shows a lot just behind the management and the leadership, where some other projects, it's like, what's going on over there? Like, how did you mishandle your funds? Where did you mismanage something to where you haven't grown your team or you haven't been able to like sustain and keep your team? Where Clay's out here and they're operating just fine. They're staying focused and keeping on track, and not even, I mean, keeping on track for them, but even for us, bringing things that we weren't even aware of or weren't expecting.
They're not a bunch of McFlys. Hello, anybody home? Think McFly.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it just shows like how the ones who operate as like they take it as a business, right? This is essentially they started off making clay and just building doing animations, building things out of clay, and here they are now with the partnerships with Snoop Dogg and all these big major players inside this Web3 space. And they've gone, I think, Tom, when we had talked with Lena for that 10 with Len thing, she said that she's like, we never expected it to get to where it is right now. We never originally had all these things in the cards, but we had to adapt. And kind of grow and listen to feedback. And we're at where we're at today. And that wouldn't be a thing if they weren't out there working hard and, like you said, being diligent about what they're trying to do, and they're not just kind of like idling by and hoping that it works out for the best, you know?
And you get that sense. I mean, we had a very short interaction, at least we did during that 10 with Len. You guys got to meet her a little bit more in depth at CNFT Con, but just even hearing them talk in spaces, how humble they can be with the things that they've already done. And just always I mean, it really do get that sense that they understand that they were just making little clay fun things, and how big it's grown. We're now, Snoop Dogg's involved, things like that, or, involved in the sense, that he is. But just those kind of big milestones where they're like, we're not, we're putting everything into this. This is our project, it's our baby, and we're going to develop it out. It's not just something we're taking for granted and just kind of like, I mean, we made a lot of money. Let's, I guess, see if it stays being popular. I don't know. We'll make some fun tweets.
Yeah. No, they definitely plan to be here for the long haul. And shout out to the ones like the Ape Society, the Clay Nation, like you said, Mallard. There's a bunch of them still out there that are grinding, and the people that are still here, that are still building, that are still growing, operating with integrity and ethics.
Act like a business.
That is true.
Because essentially we're still all your customers. So
the customer's always right.
Customer's always right.
Maybe.
I know. That's a gray area for me too.
Not even close. Sorry, just get out of town. No, customers are terrible. They
customers are
completely have no idea what they're talking about sometimes.
A pop copy from Dave the Chappelle show. It's like, the customer's always right.
Customer's always wrong, bitch.
Yeah, I guess.
Fuck them. That's why. Oh man. Well, guys, that was a nice little shorty, I think, right there. I want to go ahead and wrap this up on the back end.
Shorty with 40.
We don't have like 10 mins to announce coming up in the next couple days. We got 3 things coming out this week, 5 next week's not. I mean, I missed that. Where'd that go?
I saw another ape project coming out, like a bit ape project, and then I saw Tappy Tools has something, but
taboo.
It's not for another couple weeks.
More pixel apes.
Yeah, probably over on the Ordinal side for sure.
Oh yeah, Ordinal side, absolutely.
I think there was 4 of them today.
That's all good. But yeah, no, I mean, I don't know. We'll see what we got going on for Monday. It's gonna be a little free for all on Monday. We'll see what happens.
We might just stream games, right? I think
Monday
we'll probably stream.
First time, a little bit of talk. The next hour, some game nights for the community. We'll see. But yeah, I think right now the last like 40, like maybe like I'm at 40. I'd say maybe like 20 minutes. My headset has been beeping at me that it's low battery, and the whole episode I've just been like waiting like that to not.
I get that sometimes. Sometimes, especially because I got an older headset.
I also plug it in though mid talking.
Mine's so old that the wire starts getting loose, and so it'll kind of, since it has to hang, it'll come out a little bit and won't stay charged.
Yeah, I probably should have plugged it in before we go, but it's all right. We made it. We made it to the end over here. Guys,
I have to make the decision. I got to use the wire too because my other wire broke. I use it for my light, and that usually doesn't stay charged for like at least, especially the live stream. It won't do the whole 2 hours. So if my headset starts down, I got to unplug it and plug my headset in, and then my light usually goes out about like 2/3 of the way through the live stream.
I want to keep talking so Tommy's headset dies.
Are you guys saying something like?
Did it really die?
Yeah,
I think it must have really died.
That's amazing.
No, it didn't die.
Okay.
You son of a bitch.